You mentioned Jason Stevenson, and I want to talk about surfboards. I love talking about surfboards. You actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you started your career, at some point, on Darren Hanley's DHDs, and then shifted to become really the team rider on, we'll get to the team in a second, the JS Industries team. And I think that switch, I was going back through the photos archive, and it looked like it happened between the 2005 and 2006 CT seasons. What was the story behind that decision for you?
I first started on Dahlberg's, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Dahlberg's was like when I was a wildcard J-Bay, I was on Dahlberg's, and then it wasn't long after that I went to DHD, and it was with DH for quite a few years, which was awesome. And then when JS was kicking off, tried a few JSs, and then Dingo had gone over there, and then just being a local guy here as well, I was just like, I jumped ship, really got along well with Jace, and that's been going now for a good 20 odd years, and I think I'm stuck there for life too. So I'm a part of the business there, and I love it. So it's really cool.
I mean, if you hadn't jumped and you had taken the rip curl offer, then it would have been, between you and Mick, there would have been really not a lot of extra bang for their buck at rip curl and DHD. So they had to spread you guys apart, right?
Would have been Joel Fenning and Mick Parkinson just about.
I mean, 2006, that's like what you said, like another 20-year working relationship with Jason Stevenson. And, this might be like a silly question, but do any particular boards or board models stand out to you over the past 2 decades? Anything that like really blew your hair back?
I mean, I guess for me, the last few years have been fun experimenting, just riding twin fins and riding whatever, I went a long time without riding. I think I went like 18 months without riding a shortboard after I retired. I was just like done with a shorty, I didn't want to, felt like every time I surfed a shortboard, I was connecting in dots and crossing my T's and making sure, and I just wanted to ride fun. I've gone back, I ride shortboards now and I'll enjoy it. But so probably the fun stuff's been the best, but on tour there was a couple of boards that were incredible. I had this board, it was 17 heats, it never lost a heat. It was just in the most amazing board. It still surfs today. And a few years later, I was testing a heap of boards. I'd put it away, just retired it. It was too, after what it had done. And then I went back and rode it maybe 2 years later, and just because I wanted to feel what, I knew what was right again and a good board. And the thing was unbelievable. And then recently, it got pulled back out of the rack, and JS's son Luca rode it, because just to get that kind of that curve and that outline of that board, and I guess shape it into a modern day board. And even he went, that board is just incredible. There was just something about this board, whether it was just made in the right humidity, right climate, the way it was shaped, fixed fins in a perfect spot. Rode it from whether it was 2 foot or 6 foot, it was just incredible. I think about that board, it was the one that comes to mind, but there is a lot of other boards.
Were you the kind of guy, you mentioned when you retired from the tour, you didn't ride a shortboard for 18 months or something. Were you the kind of guy that was just constantly refining that Ferrari board during your time on tour? Or did you let yourself experiment kind of ever with twin fins or different techs?
A little bit towards the end, but definitely, I guess JS is really passionate. He's so high performance, and he as much as I put in, I guess he was putting in too. So, and it was really good to test a lot of boards. We're pretty lucky where we live. The way there's a lot of consistent waves. There's a lot of easy waves to figure a board out. You could go through 3 or 4 boards in a day and test them all and put that one good one away. And I guess, like Jack Robbo is probably in that phase at the moment. There, I've been seeing him. He's back surfing, and it's a really cool thing, especially when you live around the corner from your shaper, you work together, you surf together.
Yeah. What's your go-to JS model these days?
My Zero Fusion, my Big Baron, the Black Baron. I mean, they're kind of all pensioner surfboards, but I really like them.
Well, that's so. I was talking to someone about this recently, and they were saying, we're actually talking about it with Raglan coming on tour this year. And they were saying, like, well, it would be interesting if some of the CT surfers pulled out, like, you know, a 2+1 or like a performance twin. And they're just saying that, like, you know, these boards are so fast, and the outlines and the designs are so updated that they're not really exclusively just kind of fun alternative shapes. Like, you could rip on these boards now, and
sure.
It seems like, I mean, I was watching you the other day on some model, and it looked like I had two big fins, and I'm like, man, he's just going straight through the roof on this wave. It's unbelievable.
For sure. Like, I imagine, like, you know, like any of the guys you could put on a fat little right or a fat little shorey left or something. I mean, you could definitely start. They've got that good these days, some of these 2+1s or, you know, trailers in them, and that the speed is unbelievable. That you could probably put some of the top guys on them, and they could get off a normal shortboard. But in saying that, I mean, someone's got to take the risk. You know, I would probably stick with what works.
Yeah. You know, we've been running the CT Shaper rankings the past 3 years. It's like our version of the F1 Constructors Cup.
Yeah.
And JS was like a program we were keeping our eye on because, you know, a few years ago, we were like, you can make an argument that JS has the best non-current CT team on the planet. It had, you know, yourself, Aki, Luke, Jeremy Flores, Ace, Julian, Dusty. And it's like, it's mind-blowing even kind of reading this list out now. And last year, you know, between the likes of Kanoa Igarashi and Miguel Pupo, Marco Mino, and then wildcard results from Julian on the Gold Coast and Cali and Tahiti, you know, JS finished top 5 by the end of the year, which was really cool to see because it's like you're always seeing kind of these programs rise and fall. And it looks like there might have been like 1 or 2 moves in the offseason that could make him a real threat in 2026. And you're so close to it. I'm wondering if you had any kind of thoughts on just the team and how it's shaping up for the CT this season.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's some big moves there. I think it's going to be amazing. I think, you know, JS has really got the passion to, I guess, to get out there and shape some good boards for some guys. And I'd love nothing more than one of his team guys to get a world title and, you know, put him back at the top of that list where he belongs.